Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Arthritis Action Podcast. I'm Mark, as always, your host, and today I'm joined again by my colleague and membership coordinator here at the charity, Khadija. Hello, Khadija.
Hello, thanks for having me back.
Thank you for coming back. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. So let's get on with today's episode. So, as with all things arthritis, it's a very individual journey. That's from the way the condition impacts your life to what medical interventions you need, and very importantly, what type of support you'll need. So, let's talk about how you can personalize your support network to help you manage your condition the best you can. Because when it comes to something as impactful as arthritis, we can't do everything alone. So making sure that you get, the support that you need and is best suited to you is absolutely vital. So you have to think, like, what does your support network need to look like? So, I mean, this will change from person to person. Some people are very social people, others very antisocial or less social, perhaps. Some like hands-on stuff, others want more just information given to them and time on their own to figure out what they want to do with it. So there's a lot to unpack here. So I thought a good place for anyone starting this journey and figuring out how to personalize their support network, I guess, would be to figure out how much help do you need and what areas do you need it in. I think, do you agree with that? It's probably like the basic two you need to
Yeah,
think
I
about.
think that's a good starting point. Yeah, I agree.
Cool. So, as anyone who listens to this podcast knows, whenever we do episodes like this, I always like to split stuff into categories. So, we've got three main categories today that you and I are going to go through, Khadija.
Yeah.
So, we've got medical support, physical support, and also your mental and emotional support. Sound good?
Yeah, covers a lot of bases there.
Exactly. I like to give everyone as much as we can in one condensed package, and then everyone can kind of take the things that we're saying
Mm,
today and then go off and find more information on the bits that are relevant to them or the bits that interest them.
yeah.
And we'll tell you where you can go for this. Don't worry, I'm not just saying things and you have to go find it yourself. We'll tell you where you can go for a lot of this. So let's start off with medical support. Because I think everyone who has arthritis at some point will see a doctor or, will end up needing some type of medical support, even if it's only just for the diagnosis of it. One thing, again, we should add is that neither Khadija or I are qualified to directly tell you what medical things you should be doing. We are not doctors. So what we can
Definitely not.
no, we're going to be responsible about this and not act like we can tell you this stuff. But we
Yeah.
can tell you where you can go to get people to give you this advice, like, from the professionals. So, Khadija, where do you think is a good place to start for medical support?
I think, as you said, I think it's really important to first receive your diagnosis and, going to the GP would be the best place
Hmm.
to get that, I think. I think once you have your diagnosis and you know exactly what type of arthritis you have, where it is, how it's affecting you, you can kind of go from there. There's been a lot of times where people will call up or, they haven't had the diagnosis yet and they'll say they have pain in a certain area or they feel stiffness in a certain area, but because there's no diagnosis there, they don't know what exactly, even if it is arthritis firstly, it might not even be arthritis, but also the type of arthritis there is, because I think people don't know there are like over 100 different types.
Hmm.
So there's loads and loads of different types there. And I think once you know your specific type as well, it'll be sort of a little bit easier for you to know what to do next. So yeah, definitely go to the GP. I know a lot of people aren't liking it at the moment, but I think, receive your diagnosis first, I think.
Absolutely. And I do agree with you. A lot of people maybe have some bad feelings towards GPs and stuff like that these days, because
Mm.
obviously, we won't go into that now. I don't want I don't want to start,
Yeah.
having to go at the NHS, because overall they
Of
do a great job.
course. No, of
But
course.
yeah, it is important to do. And I think I speak to a lot of people when I do like talks in the community and stuff like that. And they're always asking, like, I think I might have arthritis. Like, what do you think about this? And again, I'm not qualified to diagnose your arthritis.
Yeah.
So I always do tell them, like, I know it might take a while, but it really is worth getting that initial diagnosis, because, as you say, like,
Yeah.
then you know what type, what the next steps are, because a lot of the stuff we'll talk about with medical support can originally kind of be rooted from your GP.
Yeah.
Like they can
Yeah, I
refer you
agree.
to loads of different stuff. Like obviously the next logical point then would be someone like a rheumatologist, like depending on your type of arthritis. And
Mm.
that would be a referral from your GP. So you kind of do have to do that initial first step of seeing them.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to this woman the other day actually. She was saying how she felt like she had it in her hands, but she didn't know for a long time. And when she did finally go to the GP and get her diagnosis, they actually referred her to a hand therapist,
Mm,
which has been really helping her. And that's like one thing, like the referrals are really important. And, if she didn't go to the GP and get her diagnosis firstly, maybe she would have gone to a hand therapist herself, but she would have had to, pay for it. And then obviously that's a whole other thing. So
yeah. Yes, yeah, private healthcare is also another option as well. Like
yeah,
if you've got the money to do it, great, you'll
mm,
probably get quicker treatment for stuff like that. But obviously,
yeah,
it all depends on what you can afford. So if you can, great. If you can't, there's the NHS there for you, and they can put you on to things like hand therapists, I suppose various other therapists as well. Because like
yeah,
a physio referral would be another really common next step,
yeah,
wouldn't it? Yeah. But we'll come back to that one though. So we'll stick with the initial kind of like medical intervention. So nurses, of course, are another one as
mm,
well. Sometimes you might see a nurse rather than a doctor. And, I've spoken to various clinicians and stuff before. And some people I do think feel like they've been fobbed off if they go see a nurse, which is, maybe being a bit harsh on nurses because
yeah,
the reason why you might see a nurse rather than a doctor is because they know more about that topic than the doctor
yeah,
does. Like they're highly trained people. So
exactly. No,
yeah,
that's
so I
true.
think if you ever do, especially, and this is something that quite often you might be referred to see a pain nurse.
Yeah,
Because that's really common, and that's like if you are experiencing a lot of pain and you go to something like a pain clinic, nurses are one of the main ones you'll see there because they've kind of chosen to specialize in those areas. So
yeah.
please, please don't feel fobbed off if they like just go, oh, you're just going to go see a nurse today, because that is not a bad thing.
No, it could probably even be a better thing. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
you
Again,
know,
you just want to, you
and
want
you,
to,
yeah,
yeah, you want to see the right person for the job, and
mm,
it doesn't matter what initials are attached to their qualification or anything like that. If they're the right person for the job and they know the most, they're going to be the
yeah,
right one for you to talk to.
yeah, I agree. And then after that, I think there are a lot of charities, obviously including us. There are actually a lot of charities out there that are really good for more advice or more routes to go down in terms of like treatment or self-managing for sure.
Mm.
Again, once you have your diagnosis, it's sort of easier like to know where to look.
Yeah, and I think it's important to like always, get as much support as you can. Like you don't
Mm,
have to just like I've got this one thing and then that will do me forever, because chances are that one thing's never going to be enough. And like
no,
I think we've
yeah,
probably mentioned this before, and I definitely use this in talks that I give about building like a self-management toolkit
yeah,
essentially. And that can include not just things that you do, but also places that you go to as well. Whether that
yeah,
be a pain clinic that you get referred to, or that you can self-refer to them depending on your area, or it could also be things like another charity, support groups, things like
yeah,
that. And also one thing that we haven't mentioned on the medical side that's really important is pharmacies as well. I suppose back to the some of the issues people may have with GPs, and the fact that it's hard to get an appointment sometime. If it's a medication question that you've got, you can go and see your pharmacist about that, because they know that's what they're
mm,
there for. They understand all of this stuff, and they'll have access to your medical records as well.
yeah, exactly. And it's quite quick as well. And I always forget that the farm is just there and they are actually very helpful and it is a lot quicker to see them, I guess. And yeah, they can prescribe you things if need be. So I think they're a very good option as well that a lot of people forget about.
Mm. Also, especially with one thing I know loads of people do, they forget what the doctors told them, because I do this as well. Like if I go, like it's always a bit of a
Yeah,
shock, especially if it's something big like arthritis or something. You might not remember
yeah,
everything they've said, and they give you some medication or something, and you're like, I really can't remember what I'm supposed to do with this. So
yeah,
you can go to your pharmacy, you can have telephone appointments. Again, this all does depend on which pharmacy you're going to. They've got their own things and different amounts of support. So get in touch with your pharmacy, and you might be able to have an appointment with them where they'll explain to you, right, let's go through it again. Here's everything you need to know about your medication that you're on.
no, I agree.
Another thing we haven't mentioned actually as well is carers, because that's like, a really invaluable part of essentially your medical support network, really. Because kind of like loosely tied onto it, I guess. That's definitely if you require a carer, like, you need that extra little bit of, professional help, then that can be a really good one to go for. And I know a lot of people have no idea where to get a carer from. So there are, again, as always, there's different avenues. You can, have this referred through your GP. They can help you with that. As we said, GP is kind of the first point of contact for all of this stuff, really. And you
Mm,
can usually get a referral through all of them. You may have to discuss it with them to see if they think it's correct. But
yeah,
you can contact your local council and get a care needs assessment done, which, if you do require that level of care, I highly recommend that you at least get an assessment, because that might be
yeah,
something that's really valuable for you.
yeah. There's a lot of things that people don't know that they can utilize. So yeah,
Mm,
as you said, I think the care needs assessment is really good. I think, yeah, people don't realize that they have a lot of help that they don't know exists, basically.
yeah, definitely. And I thought this might be useful actually, because in case that no one knows what a care needs assessment involves, I've got some information just so that it can like hopefully take away a little bit of that fear if people are worried, like, oh, am I going to qualify? And like, thing is, you may not, but hopefully you will
Mm,
if you do need it. And
yeah,
I mean, if you do need it, in theory, you should do, because they should see that. So, you can ask. I think a lot of them are done by phone, but if you feel that's not right, you can ask for a face-to-face assessment. And in that assessment, they talk about your health, what you can and can't do, or what you struggle to do, your cultural and religious background and support network, your current living arrangements, how you would like to be supported, because it is important that they try and do things that are going to actually be, applicable for you. And,
mm,
talk about information just so that it can like hopefully take away a little bit of that fear if people are worried, like, oh, am I going to qualify? And like, thing is, you may not, but hopefully you will
mm,
if you do need it. And
yeah,
I mean, if you do need it, in theory, you should do, because they should see that. So you can ask. I think a lot of them are done by phone, but if you feel that's not right, you can ask for a face-to-face assessment. And in that assessment, they talk about your health, what you can and can't do, or what you struggle to do, your cultural and religious background and support network, your current living arrangements, how you would like to be supported, because it is important that they try and do things that are going to actually be, applicable for you. And
mm,
talk about information about your, what you would need from a carer and what they would need to be involved in. And so it's a good process, and it will hopefully help to make sure that you're getting the right care that you need.
yeah,
Right, so let's move on to the next category then. So the next one I listed was physical support. So this
yeah,
one, different from medical in the sense that it's not going to be a doctor or someone like that, but some of these
mm,
things can still be, you could be referred to from them.
yeah,
So let's start off with one that's always a popular one, because there's the old adage of like, your body is made in the kitchen. So let's start off with a dietitian. So your diet is always going to be really important,
yeah,
because I
yeah,
mean, when it comes to things like, say, even if it's something like, weight loss for arthritis or something like that, all the exercise in the world won't necessarily be enough, because if you're not eating correctly or eating well,
mm,
then that can have a
exactly,
massive
yeah,
impact on things like that. And as we know, your diet can affect how your body feels and how your arthritis feels as well.
yeah. Obviously, we have Martin, who everyone loves and
Yeah.
adores, rightly so. And he's our dietitian and he's really good, has really great advice. But also, we have, from him a lot of free resources on our website.
Mm,
So, recipes, fact sheets on diet, webinars. So, there is a lot of information available. And I think the thing is with diet as well, there is a lot of conflicting information online.
yeah.
And I think a lot of yeah, it's quite hard because there's especially with arthritis, a lot of the times people will say you can't eat this and you can't eat this and you should eat
Mm.
this. So just make sure that when you do look for this information that it is sourced, correctly.
Yeah, we have a whole selection of like, we've done our best to try and do some like myth busting videos and stuff like that. So do have a look
Yeah,
at our
yeah.
website where Martin will go through some of those things, or like also, Wendy, our consultant rheumatologist as well for the charity, where they go through loads of different things like this, because you know, online, as you say, there's so much. I'm going to be less diplomatic than you. So much rubbish on there, and it's just
I didn't
so.
want to say
I'll do it. It's fine. I don't care
it.
because there is some wonderful advice out there, but it's hard to tell between the stuff that is completely inaccurate and the stuff that is accurate.
Honestly,
Unless you're
yeah.
qualified in this stuff, and not everyone can be expected to be able to tell.
Yeah, and it's the same with like even supplements and things
Mm,
like like social media as well, like Facebook and TikTok. Like you'll
yeah,
see these little videos, and you know what? I've been a victim to believing some of them as well. Like they come across like they really know what they're talking about, but you have to remember that you don't actually know these people. You don't know what kind of information they're giving you. So again, going just back to speaking to your GP, sometimes if you do see something, say about having a certain type of supplement or anything, definitely talk to your GP first just to see if it is the right fit for you. Because, yeah, even I think on our diet fact sheet, we do have some information on supplements. But
yeah,
again, this is just like, I don't want to say vague information, but it's just, it's not specific for you.
yeah. It's
It's
the
just
broad strokes, isn't it?
yeah, basically. So I always say to people, like, have a look at this fact sheet, but definitely before you try anything, speak to your GP because, again, like you said before, we're not healthcare professionals, so we can't give you advice or recommendations on what to have exactly.
No,
So
no, definitely not. And yes, one thing I suppose we should have mentioned then as well, if you did want to see a sort of Martin, our dietitian, you would need to be a member to have an appointment with him about that.
yeah,
But there is
yeah,
information about that on the websites. The rates are very reasonable, if I do say so myself, really.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, again, there's
They
also
really,
there's also the private option as well. He's not the only dietitian in the world. There are others out there, so you can, as well as GP referral, you can go private for these things as well. And yeah, I mean,
yeah,
if it's up to you which which route you can are able to do for things like that.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so next one on my list is I was thinking more about like help with exercise as well, because those two always come together. I always like to put them together.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the one of the first kind of stops you could kind of go for exercises. I'm a little biased here because I used to be one of these, but someone like a personal trainer. A personal trainer
Yeah.
can be very useful.
Oh, they are good.
Yeah, do check their
Yeah.
qualifications because if you most gyms will have like on their website a list of like who their trainers are, what they're qualified in as well. So, some of
Mm,
them will be more qualified to deal with people like, with more severe physical
yeah.
issues. And some will just be like, fairly new. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but again, this is about personalizing it to you. So you want to make sure
Yeah.
you're getting the one that's going to be the best fit for you, really.
Yeah. And I will say, as someone that has had a personal trainer before, they can be scary. But they are actually like the difference that they do make is so huge. Like, so yeah, I think if you do have any access to seeing a personal trainer, I think definitely utilize that if you can because they are really good. They have really good advice on loads of other things as well, just on like even diet and obviously general exercise, of course. But yeah, I think just saying because I know it can be quite daunting, but they're really good. They are really good.
Yeah, and to alleviate some people's things, like one thing I used to do, like because I've trained a lot of people with arthritis in the past, is I did actually meet like some clients before we did anything because they wanted to talk to me to
Okay.
see if they were comfortable. Because some people are really nervous about it, and I met a few people where they were like they didn't know if it was for them, so we had a little meeting like in the gym beforehand.
Mm.
I think it was just like in the little cafe bit by reception,
No,
and
that's
I
a good
just have a little
idea.
chat with them. Like this is the sort of thing we'll be doing, so they could meet me. And I'm a friendly guy. I could,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Depending on the client, I would be very hard on some of them because a good trainer
Kind
will
of have
tailor,
to be, yeah.
yeah, a good trainer will tailor it to the needs of the person. And so yeah, you can,
No, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So if you got a recommendation from someone or something like that's another really good way to go.
Yeah. I think it's good as well, like you having a conversation with them beforehand because it makes them comfortable because obviously
Yeah.
this person is obviously, training you. So you want to feel as comfortable as you can. So hopefully that's something that other personal trainers do. I'm sure a lot of them do the same.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I used to work with someone who did the same thing as well. We would, again, it's just some people need that extra reassurance, and I always
Yeah.
wanted to make sure I gave it to them.
Yeah.
But I suppose outside of that, I mean, not everyone wants to see a personal trainer. They do come at a cost. You're not going
Mm,
to get that from your GP, unfortunately. But there are loads of other options that might be more affordable. You know, things like local classes, like your leisure centre or your local gym, community centre, faith centre,
yeah.
wherever you are. There's loads of classes, and I know that a lot of people again worry about, are they going to be able to do this? Is it something that's possible for them if they've not done it before? And again, usually you can speak to the instructor. I think class
Mm.
instructors, actually, it's more common that they'll have a chat with people beforehand.
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. Especially, like, if you've signed up to a gym already, the classes most of the time, I don't wanna speak for every gym in the world, but,
Mm,
like, most of the time, the classes should be included in your gym membership. So I sometimes will be at the gym and someone will come up to me and be like, "We're doing a class. If you're interested, you can come along. We're doing this and this." And sometimes, yeah, they're really good and, like, it's nice because not everyone is at the same level, which is good. It makes you feel, more welcomed. And it's also that sense of community because you start to see the same people as well. And it's just like, it's nice to go to for sure. And yeah, they should be available at gyms, leisure centers. I go to a leisure center anyway for my gym. So that's
mm.
why that it kind of comes with the membership.
Yeah,
But they are really
yeah.
good.
You can find exercise classes and stuff in all different places though, like loads of places in the community that I've been to, like, on, just for example, Wednesday afternoon they have seated yoga or something like that. And
Yeah.
someone will come and teach a class there who maybe works at a different gym, or someone like me who used to go to loads of different gyms and teach classes in different gyms. So I used to
Yeah.
dot around all over the place. Like, I don't know, if everyone was around in Cambridge or Milton Keynes at certain periods, you will have seen me out in one of the gym because I went to every single one pretty much.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and so people will go around and to do community centres, things like that
Yeah.
as well. So there's loads of different places to look to find these ones. Notice boards. The internet's always a really valuable one. Type in exercise classes in my area into Google. There's
Yeah.
loads of different ways to find all of these.
Yeah.
And yeah, notice boards, things like that, or again, ask around as well. Facebook, there's loads of different options as to where you can pick it. It's kind of too many to list, really.
Yeah.
But I suppose this is all also assuming you actually want to do anything in person with anyone. Because again, like I
Yeah.
said at the beginning, some people are less social than others, so they may not want that. So
Yeah.
there are things like you can get various exercise apps. There's loads of, a good example for is like a company that we work with a lot is Good Boost, where you can like download their app. Like, we were like, helping them when they were creating that app. So we're very familiar with it. It does like kind of a triage element at the beginning of it and gives you a program based on what you have said you're capable of doing. And like I said, they're not the only one. There are others out there as well.
Mm.
Loads of different types of exercise apps you can do from the comfort of your home, because I know not
Yeah.
everyone's comfortable doing this in front of other people.
Yeah, of course. And even just YouTube as well
Yeah.
is really good. Just a
Believe it or
quick
not, I actually,
yeah?
one of the main things I use for exercise is YouTube.
Yeah, no, I used to as well. I mean, especially during COVID, but like YouTube is really good. There's loads of like really good videos on there. Even I mean, just a quick plug to our movement snacks, which are really good.
Yes,
And they're on YouTube as well, but obviously you need to sign up to them with us. But yeah, they're just like quick little exercises to do around the house. And then again, yeah, like on our website as well, we have our own exercise page if you want to do things at home. And we have, the home strengthening class with Martin again. I think you have to be a member
you do.
still
Yeah.
to see those. But yeah, but it's just saying like how there is a lot of stuff out there if you want to do something at home, even if you don't want to really go out. So
Again, these are all various options. I suppose also on the physical side as well. So I suppose outside of exercise, we sort of touched on this in the medical one, and I wasn't quite sure where to put this one, whether I put it into
mm,
medical or if I put it into physical, because it kind of crosses the two. But that's like therapist appointments. So things like a physiotherapist, osteopaths, acupuncturists, chiropractors, massage therapists, because
mm,
there's loads of different types. And a lot of them all cross over and we'll do a bit of each other stuff as well. But that's another one where your GP can usually refer you to some of this.
yeah,
They'll refer you to a physiotherapist, will be the main one.
yeah, yeah. They're good as well because they will also give you their own sort of set of exercises to do at home as well.
Mm.
So it's like another way. So yeah, no, they're really good.
Mm. But one thing I would always want to add with the physiotherapist as well is remember they'll email them to you so you can get back in touch with them. If there's something you
Mm,
can't do on it, please do let them know because they
yeah,
can give you something else. But if you never tell them you can't do the exercises you were given, they don't know. And it's not that they don't care, it's just they don't know that you can't do them because you haven't told them that. So
yeah,
again, with a support network, I think it's important to have communication throughout it as well, because they can only support you so much if you don't tell them what's going on.
yeah, exactly.
Again, there's loads of different ways to get, cheaper rates for some of these therapists, because some of them will be private. In fact, the majority of them, I think, are probably going to be private. So that can be a bit expensive.
Mm,
But, some areas have, like, for example, I remember when I was training to be a sports massage therapist, we used to have people from the community come in and we would, while we were learning, they would
mm.
get really discounted or free rates for us to massage them.
Wow.
That was, yeah. So, because it's
Yeah,
just like the college makes a bit of extra money, we get to
yeah,
practice on a live person. I don't know if they
yeah.
still do this. Is ages ago because I'm not as young as I used to be, but I'm sure that places will
I'm
do.
sure, yeah, and I feel like that's a good thing to look
Hmm.
into. This is so off topic, but sometimes I do that with hair appointments.
I was thinking in my head, like, I know hairdressers do it.
Yeah, so surely I think it must still be a thing for sure, because it makes sense. You need to practice on someone. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's a
obviously,
good
do
thing to
bear in
look
mind
into.
the severity of whatever your arthritis is. That may not be the best
Mm,
one. If it's something where you just need your muscles kind of loosening up, they should be capable of that. They will be under the instruction of their tutors during this. They're not doing it on their own. But yeah, just an extra little thing you could potentially do, and you could talk to their tutor about it and
yeah,
talk to them about it. And yeah, a lot of them will be very good. So should be fine. But like I say, there are things like that. Maybe contact your local colleges or something like that to see if that's something that is available.
yeah,
But yeah, there's information on our website as well about the different types of therapists that are available. And yeah, do check them out. Each of them are are all good, but
mm,
again, it depends on what suits you individually. Like
yeah,
some
exactly.
people will swear by acupuncture, and others will say that that doesn't work for them, and that could be
Yeah,
completely true. It's not
yeah.
not everything works for everyone. Like arthritis, it's really individual.
It's
So
all trial and
sometimes,
error.
yeah, exactly. You just can't fit. As with all these things we're talking about, you just figure out what's going to be the best for you. What do you like the sound of? What's available for you to do?
Yeah,
Also, I suppose some other physical things to mention would be some stuff around the home as well. We talked about carers already. There's also other types of like home help, assisted living facilities. Is that something
yeah,
you need to look out for? Other voluntary schemes. I mean, that can even include things like transport schemes and things like that, because
mm,
transport might be a thing that will become an issue for you potentially. So,
yeah,
I know that there's, because we've talked about this before, Khadija, there's definitely like community things that are available with different schemes.
yeah. Like volunteer schemes for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I went to one the other day and did a talk for all the people who like run this voluntary bus service, like where
Oh, okay.
they basically just drive around villages with a minibus. So these things are available,
Yeah,
and so yeah, again, look what's in your local area. I guess you check the council, check community
mm,
notice boards, check faith centres, things like that. Things like church notice boards are always a really useful
yeah.
one. You tend to get a lot
They're
of,
really good.
yeah,
Yeah,
get a lot of good stuff there. I guess as well, we did mention like exercise apps as well
yeah,
earlier on, but I suppose there are various other types of apps as well.
yeah. I mean, there's some that are good for diet, well-being. I'm trying to think of the names, but I can't at the
Well, but we
moment.
don't need to mention any specific ones, though, like because
Yeah.
it's like because we have no investment in whoever makes any of these ones. It's again,
No, of course, but yeah.
find one you like. I mean, there just type in well-being app, exercise app, diet app
Mm,
into your search, and you can find some of those just to be either it's just a calorie tracker or some things to give you like a few tips on your mental well-being and like your
yeah,
emotion, things like that. So there's loads of
yeah,
different things if you can't talk to a person or don't want to
yeah.
talk to a person either, because
Which is fair enough. I don't blame you sometimes. But yeah, there's a lot making you like definitely make use of the technology that you have because there is so many different apps out there now that can be helpful. And I think it's good to try out different ones and see what works for you.
Agreed, agreed. So we've kind of already touched on the next subject there. So the last topic we're going through today is kind of your mental and emotional support.
Yeah.
So obviously apps, that's one you can use. Again, that we'll start the other way around where we start with the one
Yeah.
with the least amount of contact. But that
Mm.
again, that might be all people want. Like there's also like telephone versions of it as well. If you don't want to go and see a person, you can talk. A friend of mine had, around quite a few appointments with a therapist, and it
Mm.
was all done by the phone because he wasn't particularly keen on doing it. And I think that kind
Right.
of suited him the best because he didn't have to look at a person while he was doing it, and he found that
Yeah.
more beneficial to him. And I completely understand it because,
No, yeah, me too.
yeah,
And if, especially if he was doing it at the comfort of his own space
yeah,
as
exactly.
well, it makes things a lot easier rather than being in like someone else's sort of office. It can feel a little bit more daunting, especially when you're being very vulnerable and talking about things that are very vulnerable. So I think
Mm,
there are like a lot of apps out there again, BetterHelp and things like that, a lot of mindful sort of apps as well to help with anxiety and just give you that extra emotional support.
definitely. And also remember, if we ever do mention any of these names like BetterHelp or anything, we're not part of them. We have no stake in it.
No,
It's
of
just an
course, yeah.
example so you can look it up more than anything else. We're not recommending any one particular place. It's again,
Yeah.
it's up to you where you get your information from. And also, yeah, so let's go on to like the more in-person kind of ones. They
Hmm.
also do telephone appointments as well, but talking
Yeah.
therapy services would be,
Yeah.
I think, probably the most advised one. As again, you can get yourself referred to that again through the
Yeah.
NHS.
Exactly. Yeah. And the referral I'd say, is quite easy to do. And then also, if you're talking to your GP anyway, they can also refer you as well. So either way, it's quite easy to be referred to them. And then, yeah, they're really good. There should be, they're in like every borough for sure, like everywhere
Mm,
basically.
yeah, they're everywhere, and
Yeah.
so yeah, would recommend that. They are formerly called IAPT services,
Oh, I didn't know
which
that.
improving access to psychological therapies, and that's what IAPT
Oh,
means.
okay.
But now it's kind of rebranded talking
As talking
therapies.
therapies.
A better title, I think. It doesn't
Yeah,
doesn't
I
need to be an
agree.
acronym that no one understands what it means.
Yeah.
Good move there, NHS. But yeah, that's available. I've worked with a bunch of people, like sort of collaborating on projects with them on that,
Mm,
and I think they're great. Highly
yeah.
recommend it. But I suppose also, again, not everyone wants to go that far down the route, so there are kind of like lesser interventions
Yeah.
where something like, for example, our online groups. We've got online arthritis action groups where you can talk to other
Mm,
people also living with arthritis or caring for people with arthritis. And, you can meet on Zoom, have a chat, facilitated by one of our members of staff. And you can either talk about arthritis, or we have other groups which are literally just social groups. So you just maybe
yeah.
have someone to talk to, because that's also an important part of
Mm,
your like personalizing your network, is making sure you've got people to talk to as well when you need to.
yeah.
So
I think it's just having a good support network, isn't it? So like even community centers, your own friendship groups or any groups that you have, even if it's like clubs that you go to, just making sure you're speaking to the right people and just have that support there.
yeah, and do make sure that you do. I mean, because again, it's easier said than done, but if you need to talk
Mm,
to someone, you really do need to do so, because it's important that you look after your mental health as much as you would your physical health. So I do think
mm,
it's important to address it. And I
sure.
know the stigma is kind of, it's much less than it used to be. There used to be a lot of stigma about don't share that
Yeah,
stuff, which I'm glad is
yeah,
disappearing. But
of
it is
course.
really important to do. Talk as much as you are comfortable with doing.
Mm,
And yeah, because it really does help. It's important to make sure you're not kind of drowning alone in these things when there are avenues out there for you to talk to people.
yeah, exactly. Especially like I think with the online groups, they're really good because you're talking to people that are experiencing very similar things to you. And it's just
Mm.
knowing that you're not sort of alone in what you're going through, and that community. So yeah, I always recommend the groups. I think they're really, really good.
Agreed, agreed. Yeah, no, they're great. And I know that the people who attend have been, so many have been coming for years
Mm,
because, again, it has become part of their
yeah,
network. They're part of their personal support network, and it's been really valuable to them. And that's always wonderful to
of
see.
course.
I love all of our members, or group members, or participants, whatever you want to call them. Anyone who comes to, I love you.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else you want to add, Khadija?
Um,
We've got quite a lot.
yeah, I feel like we
We've got quite a
covered
lot there. This is,
a lot
yeah.
actually. I feel like a lot, if not almost everything. So
Okay. Great. Excellent. So if you'd like more information on anything we've talked about today, please do go have a look at our website. There's loads of fact sheets. We've got webinars. We've got more episodes of this podcast, loads of videos, loads of different stuff on there, all about all these different things. And you can find our web address in the episode description. I'll tell you anyway as well. It's www.arthritisaction.org.uk. There's also an email in our episode description. So if you've got any questions or need a bit more direction and help or anything like that, please do let us know. You can get in touch with us that way. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, ding the alert bell, whatever it is that's applicable on your platform, so you don't miss episodes of this podcast in the future. And yeah, then hopefully we will get to see you all soon for more episodes. So thank you very much, Khadija. That's been fun.
yeah, thank you for having me again.
My pleasure. Let's do it again
Yeah, of
soon.
course. Yeah.
Cool. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Bye bye.
Bye.